Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So, it's time for another Forza Motorsport video. I know it's been a while since I covered this game, mainly because it seemed as though this game was just progressing a little bit too slowly with each update, and multiply that with perhaps the most buggiest launch of any Forza Motorsport title, as well as the endless lies that were dribbled prior to the game's release. It's been deflating to see what has happened to this series since Forza Motorsport 4, and it's also been really difficult as a consumer to truly believe anything that Turn 10 says. However, with Forza Motorsport recently turning 1, it looks as if the game is dropping its biggest and perhaps best update yet. So, Update 13, which will roll out today on October 14th, will be themed around Ford Mustangs and a returning race mode. Now, I know what some of you are already saying: what is up with the relationship between Forza and Ford? Maybe they're bounded by a very strong pinky promise? I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of Ford Mustangs being introduced for this particular update. Some are new to Forza, some are new to Motorsport, and some are returning from older Forza titles. But the first feature that actually excites me is the return of a legendary fictional track which was last seen in Forza Motorsport 4, and that is called Sunset Peninsula. Now, the reason why I like the return of this particular track is because it shows that Turn 10 does acknowledge what they have done in the past other than Maple Valley, and it gives us, the older Forza Motorsport fans, a shed of light that perhaps with time we may see more returning features that made the older titles so brilliant being introduced. Do I hear Fujimi Kaido? Maybe one day. Now, with Sunset Peninsula given a new and updated look, it'll still retain the classic experience the track is known for, and with 5 different layouts, I suspect they will be quite similar to how they were in Forza Motorsport 4, with the tri-oval speedway, the full circuit, as well as the shorter club circuit. Certainly looking forward to seeing how this track drives, as well as the differences between this and the one in Motorsport 4. And for those wondering, for Update 15 during mid-December, Mount Panorama or Bathurst will be introduced. Next, we finally have the return of drifting, something that was shown in the trailers prior to the game's release, and after an entire year later, it will now be an official game mode in free play as well as private multiplayer. Basically, drifting will work very similar to how it did in previous Forza Motorsport titles. The more sideways you go and the longer you hold your drift, the more points you will collect. Make sure to keep it clean and on track, otherwise your points won't be banked. The highest score that crosses the finish line will be the winner. On top of that, there will also be a drift zone tab added to the rival section. Permanent additions will include Drift 101, 102, and 103, and there will also be limited time drift rivals for each new update. For Update 13, this will include an A-Class drift and Mediterranean drift event. What's also important to note is that all of these drift events only allow rear-wheel drive vehicles. Drift scoring has also been added to the Meetup game mode for private drift meetups, and the cool news here is that Turn 10 is planning on adding public drift meetups in a future update. Now that to me is certainly something I would love to see, because what made the older Forza Motorsport titles so fantastic was the freedom in how we could race. It was by and large a Forza Horizon experience in a closed circuit environment with a much more realistic feel. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, Turn 10 decided to focus Forza Motorsport into this ultra competitive racing simcade, where if you don't have any online friends, you're essentially forced to enter a ranked multiplayer, and that's it. The freedom to race casually or experience other racing disciplines is no longer there with this current Forza Motorsport game. Sure, there should be a competitive element to this series, but it shouldn't be the only focus. Certainly would love to see public drift meetups return, and I wonder, with how multiplayer is currently laid out, how would Turn 10 implement this? And now we move on to the new cars being introduced. So, to celebrate 1 year of Forza Motorsport, Turn 10 will be adding 3 new to Forza Ford Mustangs in the showroom for free, which includes 3 2024 Ford Mustang RTRs, and as a bonus for any Forza Motorsport players who own the car pass, you'll be given an additional 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse, which is of course new to Motorsport. To further celebrate the introduction of Drift Mode, 4 additional Formula Drift cars from Horizon 5 will make its way into the game, which includes the 2020 Toyota GR Supra, the 2006 Dodge Viper SRT10, and the 1997 Nissan 240SX. They will be added directly into the showroom, while the 2015 Ford Mustang can be unlocked through the Challenge Hub by playing 5 drift races or score 20,000 points or more in a single lap on Catalunya National Circuit in the Mediterranean Drift Rivals event. For the featured tour, there will be 2 returning cars from Motorsport 7 as the spotlight vehicle, which will be the 95 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra R and the 2013 Ford Mustang GT500. And once you complete the entire series, you'll be rewarded with the new to Forza 2018 Saleen S302 Black Label. And the remaining vehicles include the 1982 Ford Zaxspeed Mustang GT from Motorsport 7, as well as the 2024 Ford Mustang GT and the 1967 Shelby GT500 from Horizon 5. Certainly plenty of cars here, but I do hope that for the next update we get this many cars, but with a much wider variety. Other notable things to mention include changes to certain car sounds based on the community. These include the 2022 Pagani Huayra R, the 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Racing C7, and the 2001 Acura Integra Type R. According to Turn 10, their goal, and I quote, is to ensure that any new cars added to Forza Motorsport are built authentically and uniquely. We are updating our authoring techniques and pipelines so that we can update as many of the most egregious car audio issues as possible. The initial work on this is now complete, and from update 13 onwards, all cars added to the game will be built to this newer specification. I'm actually quite surprised that they didn't use the phrase built from the ground up. I think they've learnt. Now, you see, as much as I want to believe this, I'm still skeptical. What happened to all of the new sounds prior to launch? You know, for me, there's still some things as a consumer that I'm finding quite hard to forgive. And finally, practice and qualifying has been added to private multiplayer with the options to adjust practice time limit, qualifying laps, and intermission period. Overall, to me, this is one of Turn 10's largest monthly updates. There are signs that show they can provide decent content on a monthly basis, but until all the necessary features and tracks we have seen from Motorsport 7 get implemented into this new Forza Motorsport, then we can begin to see how far this new title can go. Turn 10 still has a lot of work to do, but anyways, that is pretty much all the new content that's going to be introduced for update 13. And where do you think Forza Motorsport currently stands? Share us your thoughts down in the comment section below, as I do read all of your comments, guys. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as it really does help me out. And of course, if you guys would like to stay up to date with everything Forza related, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.